off your entire purchase or get no interest financing for 60 months with 0 down payment. This Friday and Saturday, only at Ashley.
One of the things I love so about my job here at Channel 3 is that I get to learn something every day when I show up for work, and especially I get the pen and paper out when Charles Miller comes our way. He has Scenic City Neurotherapy, and he is here with a vocabulary word of the day, which is neuroplasticity. Sounds very intimidating, but we all have it, the ability for it, and it's actually a very easy concept, so good to see you.
Oh, it's great to be here. Neuroplasticity is the way our brain is able to take in and retain information, adapt to new situations. What we do at Scenic City Neurotherapy is stimulate our brain's natural ability to enhance our individual neuroplasticity. It helps us feel correctly about things, not just emotionally, but even physically. We use the same concept that optimizes the brain for mental health, optimizes the brain from a chronic pain perspective as well.
So you know how I'm kind of this analogous person. You figured that out about me over the years. So let's give an example. If somebody's watching and they've had an incredibly stressful week at work, and they can feel it. That impacts your brain, does it not?
It does.
And then you go on vacation. You mentioned being up at the lake and fishing and reading for a week. You stop, your brain alters how it's functioning. It leaves the high stress and changes, right?
Yeah, it's think of it like almost like exercising a muscle. You can over-exercise a muscle. If you do that, you cause damage. But the muscle's meant to be used, just like our brains. Our brains are meant to be used. The breakdown in our brain that occurs with use during the waking day is a very natural process. And then when we rest and sleep, or when we take time for ourselves, our brain slowly rebuilds.
But for so many of the patients that you see, it's not just been a stressful week at work.
No.
They've got year upon year upon year of high intensity emotion, I guess, that's in their brain. And to address that in a typical way takes a lot of time. You kind of help to speed that up.
Yeah, prolonged periods of heightened stress, traumatic experiences will actually cause areas of the brain to break down faster. It's like running a motor too hard for too long. And what we do stimulates the brain's ability to repair and regenerate faster. Correcting a deficit that would potentially take years to correct, we can do in weeks.
So what that really can translate to, I think, you'll have to tell me if I'm right or wrong, but if you're watching and maybe you know somebody who's struggling, maybe it's you, with anxiety or depression, something like that, and it's really hard to get out of that. People might tell you, oh, just take this pill or just try going for a walk, and it doesn't really work.
Yeah.
You're addressing the anatomy of the issue.
Yeah, if they could think their way out of it, they would have thought their way out of it by now. Or if you could just say, oh, if I just don't think about that, it's not a problem. That's not how depression works. That's not how chronic anxiety works. Those depression and chronic anxiety are the symptoms of the brain breaking down more than it's supposed to. It's impaired function. Means you're not feeling your world correctly. That's what we're trying to do. We're not trying to make you feel good. We're trying to enhance your ability to feel right now correctly.
What does that mean, chronic anxiety? What does that mean?
Meaning like that you just have a low level anxiety even when nothing's happening. Like you're just sitting at home by yourself, everything's fine, no one's in trouble, nothing is, but you feel just this low level panic, or your brain is searching out stress. It can be a side effect of unhealthy coping, it can be a side effect of physiology. It can be many different things, but what we do enhances the physiologic component.
I'm bad with a filter, so here I go. But I have daughters who are 19 and 26, and then here I am, 54. So we grew up very differently, right? They grew up with the phone, I didn't. I grew up not able to call home when it was a bad day, they did, right? Just the cultures are different. So I feel like sometimes they can get some anxiety that I don't feel. Does the electronic world tie into that at all, do you think?
I do. I think that the constant stimulation keeps the brain active. There's not little breaks in between. We used to go to the doctor's office and we would sit down in the lobby
and read the highlights magazine,
and that was all there was to do, or watch what was ever on the TV, and it's or talk to somebody. But it was understimulating to be sitting and waiting. We would have to sit and wait. Nobody sits and waits anymore. The moment they sit down, they pull their phone out and they're looking for stimulation.
And doesn't that kind of rewire your brain a little bit?
Well, it's like stimulation is activity. When I say stress, I don't mean stress is a bad thing. I mean stress is use. Like stress,
Like the muscle, like you
yeah,
talked
it's like small amounts of stress are very normal and very healthy. If there's no stress in your life ever, it's like your brain atrophies, like a muscle not being used.
Okay, so you mentioned if people could, quote, think their way out of it, they would. Sometimes if you're the person really living with that chronic anxiety or depression, that is your life, that is what you know, so you might not see it maybe as being as significant as those around you? Is that?
I think it's really hard for people who are in it to see that they don't have to feel this way. They think that this is just how it is. This isn't the normal state. This isn't your normal state. This isn't how you're supposed to be.
So you like to talk to people. So if there's somebody watching and maybe they are the friend or the loved one of somebody struggling, can they talk to you together?
Absolutely. In fact, I encourage people to bring, we do consultations. We don't charge anything for that process. You come in, you sit down with myself, and we go through what this process looks like start to finish. We really deep dive into the science where we can, but to whatever level of understanding. But multiple sets of ears helps, because there's a lot of information, and so two people catch more information than just one.
And you may, in that conversation, find that whatever this person's particular circumstance is, you're not really the right one to help them.
Yeah, and that happens from time to time. It's patients will come in and I'll be just like, there's a very clear problem in your day-to-day life or your environment that is your mental health is being affected by your environment. I can't fix that.
Right. I think it's just very empowering to know that, one, your brain was created to be able to somewhat heal itself.
Yeah, and adapt to new environments and new stressors.
And that then you've got Charles here and his team that are experts at what they do, and they'll talk to you first and then hold your hand all the way through it. So great to talk to you this morning.
Thank you.
I learn something each and every day. 228-0579 is their phone number, online at ScenicCityNeurotherapy.com.
Do you really know what you're getting when you buy bagged planting mix? Visit Winwood Bulk to learn how our locally made black gold mix can make your garden healthy and beautiful.